This is now the finished regressive field rifle in 6mm arc. I've taken it from 100 yards to 600 yards. I've knocked down steel animals from 200 meters out to 500 meters. I've built hand loads for this. This is a finished system. And now that I've gotten it to this point, I'm really happy with it, but there are some things that I would keep and some things that I would throw out. And I'm gonna start with the keepers. The first most important thing that I really nailed on this one was picking the right scope. The Athlon Helos 2-12 by 42mm scope is high quality all around. It has all kinds of great features like the locking turrets. It has the zero stop. It has side parallax adjustment, illumination, FFP reticle. It has a big zoom range. But the most important thing about this is that it's just set up right for what I plan to do with it. Since I plan on dealing with everything that could be hogs at very close distance, out to, a 600-yard animal, I could be doing varminting, coyotes. Does this scope actually meet all those functions? In my own testing so far, yes, this is going to be perfect. The fact that this zooms all the way down to 2x, that we start out at that really low magnification, means that I'm going to be able to deal with those close range animals. I'm going to be able to deal with herd or pack animals. I'll be able to see a bunch of them if I need to and bounce back and forth between targets if necessary. And then if I want to get that one really precise shot, I can smoothly, man, that feels good, crank this up to 12x and it's ready to go. It's going to be able to read mirage very well. It's going to tell me all the wind cues, and heck, in some cases I'll be able to see those bullet holes. Yeah, it's just the best. The mount that it's in, the Athlon mount, no problems with it. It's a good price. It works really well. And yeah, it's just solid and lightweight overall, so great one there. Moving backward, let's talk about the furniture a little bit. The Magpul PRS Lite stock, I love, and I do highly recommend this. You can see that I'm running it in its lowest configuration. With the scope in this normal height mount, when this is absolutely flush down flat, that's exactly where it needs to be. This has the adjustable butt back here, so this is set to my length of pull. And I didn't show you guys this, but I actually have dialed in some cant on this butt pad so that it can fit the meat on my shoulder. Remember that this goes kind of at an angle. It's not straight up and down. So if you want to get the best fit for your rifle, if you can get a butt that can actually rotate like this and cant, then it's going to fit a whole lot better, and you're going to be able to more easily keep the rifle straight up and down when it comes time to take that shot. I recommend this very much. One of the better things about it is that with its extra bit of weight, even though it is the PRS Lite and not the Gen 2 or Gen 3 or whatever, this is going to help pitch the weight further backward. So here we are with no ammunition in the magazine even. I've got my hand right there at the back of the handguard, and yeah, it actually falls backward. That's great. I want that balance, especially as we get into some of the other things we're going to talk about here in a second. This handguard has been wonderful for me. This is the ATI, they call it the Strike Force, I think. I don't know if they make this anymore, so keep your eyes open. I'm going to have the full list of parts down in the description below so you can see what I recommend. There's a Midwest Industry one that hits the same price point and has a similar kind of build to it. So if this one is not being made anymore, you can check that one out. You can see how skeletonized it is, and that's part of the reason why that balance is toward the back instead of toward the front. Other furniture issues, we've got the grip right here. This is something that I've mentioned in a couple other videos. If a product is working well on a rifle, I'm not going to notice it. I'm not going to think about it. It's just there, and I'm just going to be comfortable, and it's not even going to pop into my mind. It's like a good pair of boots. When I go out hiking with my Keens, I don't think about my feet because my feet don't hurt. They just feel great. This is the same kind of thing. I never once thought about the grip anytime that I was shooting, whether I was prone, standing, whatever I was doing on a bench. This one just comes easily to hand. It fills my hand really well, has a good amount of palm swell to it. You can see that it has the finger grooves. If you don't like that, go for the Magpul grip, the one that is a little bit more on the vertical side. It's going to fill your hand about the same way, and yeah, get a kind of a similar feel to it overall. But then, not only does it feel good, it gets my finger right on the trigger where it should be. It has just been wonderful overall. And like I say, it's like I didn't even think about it. I just have to talk about it today, and there it is. So that is high praise indeed. Up on this end, I have the YHM brake and suppressor, and especially when I'm running these two together, this really is a pussycat of a rifle. This is a little bit on the heavier side, so that's going to help with recoil as well. But this doesn't feel much different than a 223. It feels like a 223 with heavy loads. Okay, it's a little bit more of a kick than that, but still, it's very easy to use, and children could shoot this rifle pretty effectively and not come away bruised. Now we get down to the mechanicals of this, and this is where some things started to fall down some and where I might recommend you head in a different direction. This is the Odin Works 18-inch barrel, and this is heavy. I mentioned when I put together that first video that I may have gotten some bad information on the weight on this. It's almost 3 pounds all by itself. That's a lot of weight. Now, thankfully, since I did balance the rifle so well by lightening the handguard and increasing the weight of the butt a little bit back here, this has a really nice balance to it, and this will be very precise. But because of its overall weight, if I have to wait on a shot for a long time, I'm tracking through, I got something coming through the brush, I'm not sure when it's gonna come out, I'm gonna be tired. And if I have to hump this for a long distance, my hands are gonna be kind of tired before I even get to the hunt. I've got the sling, so it can take up some of the weight there. But I think this may be a bit much. And I think for most of you, especially if extreme precision is not really what you're after, you're looking for something that can get, maybe 1 MOA, maybe a little bit larger than that, you can take a look at some of the lighter barrels. So in that Excel workbook that you can download below, I've put some alternate barrels. The CMMG barrel shoots really well in Coda Boy's testing, and I'll put a link to his video as well if you want to check that out. That one shot really, really precisely for him, so that could be a good option. And a bunch of other people have recommended the Faxon or the Aero barrels. Those are 16 inchers. They have a much lighter profile overall, and I think that for a general use carbine, they're gonna make more sense, especially if you're gonna throw even more weight out on the end by tacking on a suppressor. I think those 16 inchers are gonna be a better choice. So just something to think about. Then we get down to the mechanical issues that we had. Because this barrel is so long, with not just a rifle length gas system, but a rifle length gas system plus 2, look at where the gas block is. It's almost right there at the muzzle, and that is just daft. I would love to hear from Odin why they did that, if they had some really great reason for it. It's gonna have good timing, I guess. There'll be plenty of time for the brass to cool inside the chamber and retract some before it's extracted, so you're gonna get good brass life out of this. Yeah, it's still just absolutely daft. At the very least, just a regular rifle length gas system would have been fine. Heck, even a mid-length would have been good, as long as you have that adjustable gas block so you can kind of tune this down. By the time the gas gets to that point, it's got to be so low that, like in my case, I just couldn't cycle the rifle. It wouldn't cycle all the way back. It wouldn't get the bolt all the way back with just a normal, actually lightweight carbine buffer and carbine spring. And so like you saw in the other video, we had to swap out to this one, this Nemo 300 Blackout reduced power spring. So this works now, but in my mind, I always know that this is going to be a little bit edgy. If this rifle gets dirty, is that spring going to be enough to push the next round into the chamber? Am I going to start getting any hiccups? And I don't know. So far, there have been no hiccups. Everything has run well, but I think just because of that, and the weight, I think that for most of you, you're gonna wanna go with those lighter barrels. That's what I'm gonna recommend overall. Get something lightweight, get an adjustable gas block, but I think that the Odin may be something to avoid. The people that will want the Odin are people that plan to spend most of their time prone or supported in some way, and those that don't mind having to put a little bit of extra work into their rifle in order to get it to function. And I'm just gonna leave it there. Now on to some other things that did work well. We have the receivers themselves, those cheap Anderson ones, work great. I still get plenty of precision out of the rifle. Yeah, there's a little bit of wobble. There is a little bit of wobble between them, but it's not bad. I can shim that up if I want to, but considering the performance I'm getting out of the rifle, I think I'm all right. The Odin bolt runs nice and smoothly. The Duramags from C Products, these are working well. I've been using this 5-rounder mostly. And then we come to one of the really big things that I love on this, and that is the Rise Armament RA240 trigger. This is the RA240. There are two different options. This one is the one with the curved face. There is a straight-faced one as well, or it's a lot less curved. And this has a 3.5-pound pull, and all you do is just apply pressure. Nothing moves. It's a single-stage trigger. I felt just the tiniest bit of creep, and that's because I'm really, really paying attention. It was barely any movement at all. If I'm out in the field, I actually don't feel it. Yeah, there it is. And then just snap. It is extremely crisp. It doesn't move very far once it's fired, so very small over travel. This is a trigger that I would be very happy to use on a bolt action rifle, and the fact that you can get it in an AR, 2 thumbs up, all the thumbs that I got. If you are looking for your next, it's not really like a finely tuned trigger. It has a decent size hammer. You know, it has the regular hammer weight. It has a good feel to it. It's going to hit that primer every time. This is not like a race trigger. It's just that it feels like a race trigger. So this is very secure, but it feels amazing. Buy that RA240 if you're looking for something that's going to take your rifle to the next level. Thanks a lot for watching, you guys. If you have any questions about any of the other parts, like, I don't know, the trigger guard, it's fine, or anything else that you've seen on here, please let me know. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about some of the accessories, things that I'm going to attach to this to help it be more functional out in the field, and some things that you might want to consider for yourself. But yeah, I'm calling the rifle good. I love it. I cannot wait to get it out on a hunt. And yeah, thanks a lot, you guys, for coming along on the ride. Thank you for all of your suggestions, and yeah, just all the feedback that I've gotten from y'all. Thanks to patrons of the Destructive Arts for making these videos possible. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Even if you didn't like this particular content, go ahead and subscribe. There's probably something coming that's more up your alley. Check out this playlist right here. This is going to have videos in a similar vein to what you just watched. These 2 videos we cherry-picked for you. And finally, The Social Regressive is on Patreon. So you can become a patron of the Destructive Arts and earn some goodies while helping us to provide high-quality videos just by kicking us a few bucks a month. Thanks a bunch for your patronage.